Hey y'all, Instinct Survivalist coming again with another Tip Tuesday. This time we'll be talking about Sawblades and Twigs, or bark. Anyway, hey, special shout out and thanks to my neighbors next door. That dog had been barking for like 10 minutes straight, couldn't even get anything done. And that's fine, you know, it's one of those things where I could have filmed at a different time, but they ended up bringing the dog in, so special shout out, thank you to them for doing so. He's barking at nothing. So anyway, where do we stand on what we're looking at today? Twigs and bark. Let's go with that one first, simply because this is one of the things I've run into several times, and I've had several friends of mine actually run into it as well. And what it boils down to is if you're building like a Roycroft or a ladder frame pack, then you're going to use cordage to actually lash and use it for your shoulder straps. This is Duluth 51. One of the things, if I could change anything about it, it would be the straps. Basically, it doesn't matter if I put in something that is 2 pounds, 10 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever it is. In doing so, what happens is eventually these straps start wearing into the grooves in my shoulder where that nerve is, and then sending it to where I cut off the circulation of my arm. And so one way to alleviate that when you're hiking, backpacking, camping, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you can last longer in the field. And so one of the ways to do that is with a piece of bark. And so you can use a wide piece, or you can use a twig. And what you do is just simply take and just run it up in there and not catch your beard. One way to do that is like that, and we'll do it with the bark as well. Same thing, I just lift it out and put it across there. What happens is that if you take and do it up, low, you just have to find that spot, right? That spot that doesn't hurt, not uncomfortable, and then eventually just you stop thinking about it. You can make them shorter, make them just a little bit longer than the strap is what it boils down to. So all you're doing is just even right, making it even on the strap so that it distributes the weight. And by doing so, what you'll realize is it doesn't cut into that one area. So the area in which you would ideally put it is anywhere between the shoulder and the armpit. And so if you go about halfway, that usually does it, regardless if you're using bark or if you're using the twig. Now, again, I've gone in and hiked with this pack, love this pack. And one of the things about halfway through the hike is I needed to alleviate some of the strain, pain, and pressure because my arms were starting to tingle. I thought it was just because I was cold. It wasn't the case. So I was actually getting the tingly feeling. So able to go in and put that in. So that's one tip for today. Again, bark and twig, and they don't cost anything. You pick them up off the ground. And if you look, you know, at some of the twigs or some of the bark as an example, you can also pull off the inner strands of it to use it for your fire later. So there's your extra tip, if you will, for that. All right, so let's talk about saw blades. One of the things I've started doing is carrying a saw blade. Now, I carried a bow saw for a while, and what I realize is while that's okay, the weight is minimal, okay? It's really negligent. You can get some of the fold-up buck saws by Nick Stoll or Stoll Outdoors. Great stuff there. Guy is fantastic at woodworking and doing this stuff. And I've worked with one of the fold-up saws. Man, that's amazing. But what I do is I started carrying one of the saw blades, and you can get them in different sizes. This one's a 24, this one's a 20. And what I did with one of them is I actually made a buck saw out in the woods. So all you had to have is cordage and your saw blade, and go in and deal with it and adjust it that way. And so what this happens, or what it does for you, is it alleviates a lot of the pain and strain, if you will, that you have on some of the hand saws like a Baco, Coghlan's, or Silky, or fill in the blank. Now, I've seen people getting bigger and bigger Silkies. That's fine, knock yourself out. Hey, if you want to do that, that's great. This actually alleviates some of this, because what it does do is it allows you to go in and cut bigger logs. And in doing so, you're now looking at a log that's this deep versus some like this, some like this. You start getting into, you know, the 6 and 8 inch logs itself. And it's not so hard to put across. We're gonna try to do a video eventually on how to create one of those. One of the other ways, if you look at this, I've actually tied this in with a toggle, and it keeps it from slipping out. The other part is you can actually use rings. So on one of them, This is a 21, not a 20, sorry. I'll put on a large ring and a small ring so I can kind of adjust as I need to. Now, does that mean that I can only use the rings? No, I can take them off. It's a split key ring. Additionally, it makes it a little easier than if I just wanted to fashion it over the ends. So like this is an example, I could fashion it over the ends, just stick it on there if it was a smaller log or stick, if you will, and make myself something a little more comfortable. So what would make you choose one size over the other? If you look at again the 24, 21, why would you use one over the other? Simply, number one, taste. If you want to have a longer stride in the pull and the push, I go with a 21. If you're looking at a bigger buck saw, if you will, go with a bigger one. My opinion is based off of if I were going long term, right? Not short term trip. Short term trip, I'd probably carry the 21 or an 18. But if I were going to go long term, let's say that I was setting up in a frontier or pioneer style, then I would go with a longer, because then you're looking at, you know, possibly building things like a cabin, like a shelter, a bigger permanent shelter, as opposed to the 21. That's not to say that the 21 can't do it. It's not to say the 18 and the smaller ones can't do it. It's to say that I want to have a longer stride so I'm not wearing myself out, knowing good and well that if I'm building a trapper's cabin as an example, then I'm not sitting here going, oh my gosh, let me go these little bitty strokes. I can get a longer stride in it, cut bigger pieces, and then cut through them a lot quicker. So that's what it boils down to, folks, is again, the bark and the twig, and then the saw blades this week. Those things can help you out. They, again, weight is minimal. If you're worried about silence or stealth, if you will, take off the rings, put them in your pocket, put them somewhere else, or just make sure that they're secured in there. This one is a brand new one I just got not too long ago. I haven't got a chance to use it simply because I haven't needed to yet. The other side of that is making sure that the kerf, how wide is to your liking, and then the type of blade. So there's a lot of different things, and if I can find it, I'll try to post it on the Instinct Survivalist Facebook page. But there's a blade comparison chart on the internet right now, and you can look it up as well. So it's a bow saw, is what these are called, bow saw replacement blade chart, or bow saw blade chart. You can look up those keywords in Google and find it from there. If I can't find it, the photo that I actually have of it, I'll try to post a link for the search and the comparison. So that's it, guys. Very short, very sweet today. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for your likes, your subscribes, comments. Make sure you comment down below, and if you give me a thumbs down, that's okay. Please put a comment down below. Let me know what you like. Let me know what's going on. Why did you not like this video or any of the other ones I've done? Hey, y'all are making this very successful, and I appreciate that. Appreciate all you do. So use your instincts to survive, and thanks for watching.